Those are live bullets.
Live bullets.
Hello guys, thank you for stopping by. You're watching my channel, What is Hot. So Nigeria is basically on fire. Okay, basically not Nigeria, but Abuja, our federal capital, was born 2 days ago. There was unrest between the Shia protesters and the armed police, and this led to the death of a Channel's news reporter and a deputy commissioner of police. So right now, everybody is asking, who are the Shiites and what do they want? Welcome to Buzzwords on What is Hot. The Shiites basically are a denomination of Islam, or more like a Muslim denomination. In the same way you have Catholics and Protestants as the two major denominations in Christian world, that's the same way the Muslims have two major denominations. I mean, there are so many smaller ones, but the two major ones are the Shias and the Sunni Muslims. The Shias and the Sunnis are not very different. They share a lot in common. They all use the Quran and they all follow the 5 pillars of Islam, which is going for a Hajj at least once in a lifetime, compulsory giving, 5 prayers a day, fasting during Ramadan, and proclamation of the Islam faith. These are the 5 pillars of Islam, and both the Shias and the Sunnis abide by it. But what is different between the two? The difference is based on the fact that the Shias and the Sunnis disagreed thousands of years ago when Prophet Muhammad died. When Prophet Muhammad died, a group of Muslims believed that his close friend Abuja, who was with him for a very long time and has a lot of experience, should be the new leader or the new caliph. But another group believed that his cousin named Ali, who is also his son-in-law, married to his daughter Fatima, should be the new caliph, because not only is he bloodline, but Muhammad specifically requested that he succeed him. This led to an uprising, a conflict, and a breakout war, and at the end of the day, the Sunnis had their say, and Abu Bakr became the new caliph of the Muslim sect. At the end of the day, it caused a splinter, or it caused a splinter group, and the Shias went their way, and the Sunnis went their way. Sunnis make up 85% of the population in the Muslim religion. So that means 85% of Muslims, including our president and most Muslims you see in Nigeria and across the world, are Sunni Muslims. But a very small fraction of Muslims are Shia Muslim. In the bigger world outside Nigeria, the Shias and the Sunnis basically get along, because most people believe, we're all Muslims, irrespective of whether we're Shias or whether we're Sunnis, we're one Muslim. But among governments and among countries, they don't trust each other. There is always this battle for the soul of the Islamic State. The Shias want the typical Islamic State to be headed by a Shia, while the Sunnis want a typical Islamic state to be headed by a Sunni. So they don't trust each other. In the Middle East, most of the conflict is because of the religious difference. Iran is a big power in the Middle East, and Saudi Arabia is another big power in the Middle East. Saudi Arabia is predominantly Sunni, while Iran is predominantly Shia. So these two cannot fight each other because they are very powerful. They will kill each other. But they support smaller wars with each other. They support smaller countries or smaller wars for dominance. Saudi Arabia sponsors rebel groups that are Sunni, while Iran sponsors rebel groups that are Shia. Basically, that's how it works. So that has led to pockets of war and small violence in the Middle East because of Sunni and Shia. Now, how does that affect Nigeria? In Nigeria, most of our leaders, including our President Buhari, is a Sunni Muslim. Don't forget, I mentioned earlier that Sunni is 85% of the Muslim world. So that leaves a very small percentage of Shia. And because they are a very small percentage, most of the time when they are minority in the country, they tend to feel marginalized. And they look to their supreme leader in Iran. Iran is the strongest country in the world where you have Shia dominating. So most of the smaller pockets of Shias around the world all look to Iran for financial assistance, to prop them up and to give them weapons and stuff like that. Now, in Nigeria, the Islamic movement of Nigeria, there are some problems that the Nigerian government have with them. By virtue of their religion, they don't recognize any authority except that of their spiritual leader. In Nigeria, their spiritual leader is Sheikh Zakzaky. Sheikh Zakzaky does not recognize the president and he does not recognize the governor of Kano State. They recognize their supreme leader and they recognize Iran because they believe that their authority comes directly from God and they cannot make a mistake. So because of that, they are at odds with the Nigerian government. In 2015, during one of their major processions, they blocked the convoy, or they allegedly blocked the convoy of the army generals, and this led to a clash, And at the end of the day, Sheikh Zakzaky was arrested and jailed. The reason why they arrested and jailed him is because they probably feared he was going to start his own Islamic state in Nigeria, especially since he was getting backing from Iran. But on the other hand, the Islamic movement of Nigeria, who are the Shiites, has claimed that they are not given freedom to practice their religion freely and they are more or less being persecuted. So there are different school of thoughts here. The federal government is laying their claim and the Shiites in Nigeria are also laying their claim. Another reason why they can't coexist in Nigeria is because some of the utterances that the Shia Muslims, proclaim, the Sunni Muslims, who are majority, find it like, blasphemous. Like, how could you say such a thing? And this is because of the differences in what they believe. Okay, so the idea of this post is just basically to give you a top line idea of who the Shiites are, what their mission is exactly, and what they are fighting for. And I hope you were able to gather that all in this post. Thank you for watching. This is Buzzwords. In my next post, I'm going to give you more details on what the fight is all about and where it's likely to be headed next. But for now, give this post a big thumbs up if you like it and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you again next week. I do new videos every week. Bye.